If it's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day of the week, we're here with an exciting, hopefully valuable program for everybody to get some really, hopefully transformational takeaways. And with that, chat's open. We really depend on chat to encourage us and direct us into the right areas of conversation where we can get people the relevancy they need at the time they need it. Today's word is support, so everybody can focus a little bit on the word. And with that, let me introduce you again to Andrea, and she can share a little bit about herself and what her thoughts on support is.
Yes. Before I do that, I want to remind everyone out there to send us the topics you would like us to talk about. Yes, come with
Mhm.
a lot of suggestions. Not that we are running out of topics, don't you believe it? But it would be nice to hear from you what you would like us to discuss. So, support. The one thing I want to say, support is one of the purest forms of love. And when I'm here with you, I feel supported by Donald. I feel supported by everyone out there. Yes, I can feel the love. I can feel how we inspire and motivate you out there. And that's what we are here for. It's our way of sharing our love. And yeah, I love doing this, I must say. And support is, people think they need to offer help when it's about support, but that is not really the case. I mean, I will give you some extreme examples, and they are
Mhm.
really extreme. If you have the person who's holding suicidal thoughts, and they are with you, you cannot give them the solution and thinking that is supporting them by telling them that life is so beautiful, you shouldn't do this. No, it's not the way to do it. Your way of support would be just listen. Listen carefully to what the person has to say and ask questions. But don't, that is a moment you don't summarize and come with a solution. Just listen. Put your arm around the person or hold the hand, and that is the support. That is emotional support, and this is what that person needs at that very moment. And do we have any guys here already? Because I have one for the guys. Um, Women, they love your support, but don't think that they want you, the man, coming with a solution. All they want is listening to you, and there you can maybe summarize and bring the topic up, and then you can say, it will pass, and you're doing such a great job. Don't get so frustrated. Just take it easy. Don't come with a solution. Oh, you could do it like this or that, because that is what the lady doesn't want to hear. The lady wants your support in a different way by listening to you. Just listen. What do you think, Don?
I think that listening is essential, and it really doesn't matter who it is you're working with. Listening has value, and what the value really comes down to is people have a voice. They want it to be heard before it's judged or prejudged.
Mm.
And I believe that's what we're trying and have accomplished here is have a safe place of listeners. You know, it's not how smart you are, it's how open you are to hearing, feeling what you hear, changing your mind based on what you learn. And then you stay fluid. You can continue to be a soft, a welcoming influence on other people. because how you are is how you attract.
Mm.
And if you're giving advice, you're going to be dealing with people who are giving you advice back or not taking your advice. Either way, you're running into resistance. When
Mm.
again, if you look at the, let's say, rule of proactivity, you stimulate what you want versus deal what you get and then try to change it. And
Mm.
you now have opportunities to learn what you don't want to do. So if people get the chance to tell their story, what you had planned may have no relationship to who the person is or where the person is. And I think that's the key. And the essence of support is building trusted relationships,
Yeah.
right? And if you're just transactional and if all you care about is winning at any cost, at any time, with anybody, this doesn't apply. Those aren't listeners, those are tellers. Those are forcers, manipulators. And I think that's where people identify people who are like them and who want to support them. And with that said, let's make sure we recognize this great audience we have here. And it is about the audience. Munica's here. Happy Tuesday. It's just nice to see people coming together to come together with the right intentions and not trying to do anything more than what the moment tells them to, right? So without a pre-plan, you can roll with the flow and enjoy the ride. Pauline's here. It's so nice to see the same names and people, and I see how many people are really growing day after day with people like Andrea, Leslie, and it's only getting better. We've got 5 new faces coming on in the next 2 weeks, and
Mm.
people. Oh yeah, I mean this. The calls I'm having afterwards. We've got gentleman Samuel Borelli, who's an international sustainable, recyclable waste management person. We've got Dr. Joanne, who's coming this week. And on and on and on, and it only gets better. So that's really fun. Kim's here. Kim's great. Actually, Kim's doing her first show with Kelly on Thursday. So
Oh, wow.
Kim, and Kim's got a great story and a great personality, and really deserves to have it heard and have herself seen. So hopefully that's an opportunity. Paul's here. Uh, Hello, Don and Andrea. Happy Transformation Tuesday. Great to be here and support you today. And that's actually what I'm doing in the promo post. It is transformational, and
Yeah.
it lives up to that. Where a lot of them are hype. Big day for Christy and Kelly. Yeah, they're starting their show today in about 2 hours. I believe it's
Mm.
11. Paul's having his show this week. So it's nice to see people branching out and supporting each other, and that's the word of the day. Very good point, Andrea. We must remember to just listen versus jumping to solutions for others. There is no rush to judgment, because how many times would you like to have one more day to think about it, or one more insight that you didn't know, that if you would have known, maybe you would have made an adjustment. And whether you're fast or slow, the main thing is, are you helping the other person, right? So if you make it about the other person, it always gets easier.
Mm.
Meeting people where they are versus where they think they should be or design them to be. What's your thoughts, Andrea?
Well, I was. It's what she's saying is so true because as a coach, you don't tell the client what to do. Actually, you work with questions, and it starts with listening to their story, summarizing it, and did I understand it well, and so on and so on, so that you put their problems or problem on the table. And then the next question is, what do you expect from our sessions? And then they will actually tell you the real the real thing. What are they? What are they wanting to do? And all the only thing, guiding is the wrong word, and helping is the wrong word. You just serve them. You serve them by opening their eyes, and opening their heart and soul. That is when that is the real transformation. And one of my colleagues has a YouTube channel, and he said something really nice, that together we are walking together, we are walking home together. See, that is that support. And this is also what we do here. We talk about a subject, and it gives we give some information, and there is a light bulb on for some, and others already know and have heard it before. They just get it again and get it, and can manifest what we are saying. um, so I think this show and what we are doing is support. It is support. It's the purest form of love, giving love. Our support to the audience out there by talking about the topics which are valuable for everyone. There is nobody out there who would say, sorry, but I didn't get any out of this today. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't think.
no,
There's always something new to learn.
well, and there's always something new to offer in return, or in advance, or with no regard for getting something back. And I think what it relates to, and you do a wonderful job of defining things, even simple words, in different ways that lend themselves to different perspectives. And what you learn is everything's conditional or relative to the situation. There shouldn't be absolutes, especially when it comes to human behavior. So if you understand and don't think of yourself as better than someone else, right? And meet somebody where
Mm.
they're at as an equal, as a peer, that makes a big difference, because the less resistance you create and the less resistance you encounter gives you more energy to build a relationship, just as opposed to getting through the door with someone. And if you can't reach somebody deeply and with some value, everybody's wasting their time, right? Because there are people who can do that. And,
Mhm.
the other thing about this is, Leslie kind of touched on it. It's more of a um, friendly place that people meet, like the common square, and they get to be themselves, and they get to talk to people in a comfortable way. And that really does separate what most people do on LinkedIn and what most people do in life. And it also gives people like Andrea and a lot of other co hosts an opportunity to really share their whole self, right? Not just a piece of paper,
Mm.
not just a quick phone call. Uh, and that's important, because value is what value is earned and deserved. And most times it's not really taken into the right consideration, but that's why you have to be the one to tell your story, to share your story, to get your story out. Because the more people that hear your story, the more chances you find the right one, they find the right one. If you're only looking for one, two, whatever number, why not be very clear? And then also, why not be very amplified? Why not reach through your friends to share your messages, and in turn be the conduit for them to share theirs. And everybody, there's enough opportunity for everybody. The question is, who wants to put the time and work into it and do it the right way. With that said, let's recognize a few more people in the audience. LinkedIn user The message is consistent between your
Mm.
guests, even though they come from different experiences. So true. Kim says, Andrea, I like the mindset of serving as we listen, support, and help each other. And that's really breaking it down the right way with the right components and ingredients that make it as worthwhile, and more importantly, fortifying. You're looking to share strength, build strength, instill strength in others, because
Mm.
everybody has the knowledge and capability. It's the direction and motivation to take action on it. And that changes everything once you start doing more and being with more people who you can learn more from, right? I mean, and if you, like I say, if you don't need it, then someone needs you and what you have for them. So I think that's important. Who doesn't need to hear a positive message? There's so few of them. Like Andrea said in the beginning, if someone would just turn something from a negative to a positive, they would turn their relationship from a negative to a positive, right? Instead of complaining if someone was complimenting, right? If someone, what I found, whatever you give is what you get. And whatever you take is what you're going to continue to get. So, the
Yeah.
change has got to be from you. I know that got you
Yeah.
excited, Andrea. What do you have?
It hit my mind immediately. I was going to say, whatever you think, you will get. Yes, because universe is serving you, but universe is not giving you what you want. It's giving you who you are, what you
Mhm.
are. Yes, so that's why it is so important to live in a higher vibration. That's why it is so important to transform and leave the old baggage behind and start fresh, start with a fresh soul. And we came on this earth as kids and vulnerable, but also pure, and we can be the same again once we have realized who we truly are, and accept who we are. Yes, then you vibe in a different way. Your heart is swinging, and there is vibration all around us. Yeah, and you feel it also. Although I am here in Germany, and I don't know, Dean is in America, you are in America, and wherever they are, we are connected. We are connected, and it's like, maybe I'm using the wrong word, but it's like one. It reminds me. This reminds me of, in the old days, every city, every area of a city, every little village had a community home, community house, where people came together, and they weren't just playing bingo. No, they also came together, and they were lectures. There were things you could learn, and we are like this, but we are so much bigger because our audience, we can reach. How many are we now on LinkedIn? 900 million or so. We can reach so many. Yes, and
Yeah, yeah, and
that's amazing, amazing feeling.
exactly. And that's what I was kind of referring to as having that marketplace or center of town where everybody comes to celebrate each other, to see each other, to share food, and that's what we're offering as nourishment for
Yeah,
people who are deprived of positive reinforcement, of a compliment, and a sincere compliment. So if we stay to the point of improving our attitudes, our relationships, our mindset to the point where every day is a new day. You can be a new person every day. Like you pick out your wardrobe, you can pick out your attitude. You can pick out who you're going to talk to that day or reach out to, where you're going to go. So Too many people look at life as 5 years of this, 3 years of this. Every part of life is one day at a time. Now you can
Yeah.
continue to repeat that day every day, just like you can wear the same clothes every day. But eventually, those clothes aren't going to last if you don't take care of them, if you don't change them once in a while. We get off into these metaphors, but let me recognize some of the people. Lillian is just great. Uh, Looking forward to, really the feedback is what completes this show. Because
Mhm.
whatever we say without knowledge of what it's really being perceived and shared with, do we know if we're hitting the right mark? I feel partnering and collaborating serves both parties, that it keeps us open to receive and exchange ideas. Well, too many people are focused on how much did I get and how much did I spend. And sometimes you got to invest a lot before you see something come back. I mean, you ever see people build these big buildings for years? They're paying workers and machinery before they get any rent. But that's what they invest in. And I think that's why relationships and conversations need to be invested in, because too many people don't fully appreciate they need to bring value in return for value. It's not what you need or want. A lot of times it's what you deserve. Paul says, I learn from everything. I've learned so much emotional intelligence from my aunt's pets. My dog actually inspires me to live life on my terms. Well,
Yeah.
everything, go ahead,
Yeah,
Andrea.
I mean, it is listening to your instinct, to your inner voice, isn't it? And you can watch our pets doing exactly that. You can watch your child doing exactly that. Yeah, and we can go back to that again and do it that way. Yeah, and you will be more protected in life with situations than you may imagine. Yeah, because it's the vibration of it's a vibration of another person. That's why it is so important that we do connect and connect with people who who think alike and feel alike and speak from the heart. um, I If you have an intruder, let's put it that way, and then it doesn't work, and you will always find you will. I see people sometimes, and I see and hear them, and all they do is repeating what others have said, and that is not the way you do it. It's the way you learn, you practice, and you do it. And if you don't, then it's the same as not knowing. And here you have, I don't know, a famous quote, and I don't even know who it was, but that is a true one. Because if you don't live, it's the same as we are talking about support. If sit here and talk about support and not supporting, it's the same as not knowing, not get. You don't give anything. It's thin air. There's no vibration. It doesn't reach somebody else's soul, does it?
Well, I think that's a key word, is vibration. And is what vibration are you working with? Is it a low energy vibration? Is it a high energy vibration? Because, one thing gets you to another thing or takes you
Mm,
away from another thing. And it's really about how you build and who you build with,
mm,
and not being too caught up in overthinking it. If you're never going to live it, if you're always thinking about what you're going to do next or what you didn't do last. And I think it's really getting present with people in the present, in a message of, what can I do for you? If the intent is always to serve first, right, is when you meet somebody, you ask yourself first, and then you ask them in a way, what can I do? When my mother was staying with us in the last couple of years of her life, and me and my
Mhm.
wife took, care of her, I decided to, I had to put it in perspective. So I said, well, I'm going to be a four-star hotel service person.
Yeah, right. Nice.
And every evening I would always come in and I took care of the evenings. My wife took care of the day.
Mhm.
I would say, what can we do to make your stay better this evening? You know? And I'd have to go in like 7 o'clock was pills, 9 o'clock was oxygen, 11 o'clock was insulin, whatever it was.
Mm.
But when I put it in that framework of service, I became better at service. And I think that's what people want to be, is not the one waiting for someone to serve them, but someone who's serving others, including themselves in the service. And with that said, it looks like Harvey has a birthday. Uh,
Yes. Happy birthday
Me
to
too.
you. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday.
to you.
Happy birthday, dear Harvey. Happy
Happy birthday to
birthday to
you.
you. And many more. So yeah, it's nice to celebrate birthdays. It's nice to celebrate uh, achievements,
Mm.
because everybody getting stronger helps the people around them be stronger. People to keep people down. And that's the opposite of support. That's removing support from themselves. And why? I mean, if you look at people as tires, and some people need some air, right? They need to be inflated. And
Mm.
if you've got plenty of air, right, why not do it? And you learn so much, and there's something to being humble, with humble people doing humble things, you
Yeah.
know, even cutting vegetables is a valued ability because it equalizes the situation. That's why eating is so good, because everybody's doing the same thing with each other and they're equal when they're eating and being around the table. So why not make this a family table where we all sit down and bring wonderful, nutritious things to each other?
Mm.
And that's the support, and that's all you need to do. I mean, if you had Christmas dinner every night of the year, wouldn't that be fabulous if you can get 20 of your relatives who love each other and care?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be out of this way of thinking. But
I,
go ahead.
I, I think after 10 nights you say, please, let's wait 8 months.
Well, you might say, can you bring my meal to my room after 10? But that's the key. If you can laugh about something you never even knew was funny until
Yeah.
you heard it, because it's really the reaction you get from what you do as soon as you do it.
Mm.
Something that's said and then repeated 4 days later is stale, and no one even remembers where that fit in. And the key is how much fun can you have every day with as many fun people? Like that saying, it's easier to give birth than raise the dead. Too many people are trying to bring the dead back to life versus
Yeah.
just, looking for new opportunities with new people and being that person that people want to spend more time with. And that's what shows like this introduce people to, is the whole person. Because if you're on this show, like Andrea's been on for months, there's nothing you haven't seen or heard from Andrea in a way. There's not a lot.
Well, you haven't heard me swearing.
Well, I'm giving credit. So what's your thoughts, Andrea? You've been laughing quite a bit today.
Well, yes, and there is yesterday a colleague of mine, he had a post about serving, and people say, I don't know how to serve, or then we have support, right? And it's actually easy. It is easy when you go out of your house. Open your eyes. I know it's difficult in America because everybody is going by car, and here we walk, right? But yet, when you come into an area where you can walk, where you do see people, open your eyes, and you will see. You will all of a sudden see a person who looks very sad, or a person needing help with a bag, or like I had today, I was on the tram and I had 22 stations to go, and then there was the last five coming, and an old lady came in, and I got up and let her have my seat. And you see nowadays that not everybody does that anymore, especially younger people. You see, they don't get up. They are so used to have their bum glued to the chairs because of the gaming, I guess. I don't know. They live in this so narrow world. Just go out, open your eyes and look around. And even if it's a plant or an animal you serve. And yesterday I had a beautiful situation. I was outside for a walk, and I came to this pond, and there were ducks, and somebody came with a big bag of bread to feed them. But if you feed a duck with bread, you will make her drown. You will kill her. And so there was a young couple coming up, and they and explaining this. The guy got mad, and then he walked away. But another young girl came, whilst I had a conversation with the first couple, came up to him and explained, this is the reason why you cannot feed them. And I don't know if you haven't seen the sign, which is there, not there yet. It says, please do not feed the ducks. And that is support. Yes, that is supporting someone. And also then, especially that young woman who came then to explain it. And I thought, yeah, this is, they had their eyes open. They were supporting the animal, and yet they were also supporting the man to make him understand why it is so important not to feed the ducks. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
an
that,
example.
yeah, what you're saying is really, if one could find a way to apply it every day, is really building bridges.
Hmm.
Connecting people, connecting knowledge to people that will help them and also help people around them. What you want to do is start a different kind of positive flow to counteract all the negative flow of media, technology, of shortcuts, like you say, of disrespect is being like the norm now,
Hmm.
where respect was always the norm, and somebody who didn't was at a challenge. Paul has a comment here. I
Yeah,
think about what Sarah Blakely said at the growth.com. Don't seek to understand, just love and support others.
yeah,
Yeah, because you think too much already. When you start thinking about somebody else and where they are and why they're there and all that stuff, you're getting off on a detour. If you had a direct route that you needed to take to get to your destination, you wouldn't start going off in the side streets and exploring that. Charles is here.
hi,
It's
Charles.
quite a commitment being in Hong Kong because it's almost midnight.
Yeah,
And it just shows you how international this is, but also how it becomes a choice of this or what someone used to do. Could have been watch the news at this time. It could have been do something else. And people really need to keep optimizing. This world is getting faster. It's getting more challenging. It's getting more competitive. Everybody needs to strengthen up a little more, build their support teams. I think of the people who do those high wire acts, like the trapeze and stuff. And without a net, that makes it real dangerous. But if you have a net and a support group and a support show and ability to really get your voice out, because once you're heard properly and to your liking, then you've had your opportunity. And that's all anybody could ask for. Paul says a lot of times you can't understand. Okay, however, you can always listen and cheer people on. You know, who says we're all cured? We help ourselves by helping others. Ambimbolus, who's great, shows up almost every day. Happy birthday, Harvey. Harvey had his first chance at co-hosting last week with Christy and really came through with flying colors. Look forward to having him back on the show and really encouraging people to be the model of what you want others to be. Practice it while you're waiting for it, you know. Hire yourself while you're waiting for a job. You know, be the master of your
Mm.
future. What's your thoughts, Andrea?
Yeah, the last one was hire yourself. Uh, I think the kindness is also is support, right? And you are support, you actually helping yourself. I don't know if you have noticed when you are kind to someone and you just give them a smile and you get a smile back. Just imagine what it does to you. And so it always works in both ways. You don't, when you are kind to someone, you don't expect something back, but it does happen very often because people need that kindness. They need our warmth. And as you said, our are so fast. And we are the only ones who can stop that by living more from within, from your heart, and not looking at others, not being uh, um, touched by someone's comments, or because you know yourself well enough. And I think I've said this one before, when we truly love oneself, we don't we give without the feeling of losing something from ourselves. And this is where support starts with kindness, yes, and surrounding ourselves with the right people and having that the support is also making sure that we thrive, that we get into higher vibrations, that we keep the higher vibrations, that we keep our own bucket full in order to serve others. And supporting others is, well, it's a way of being kind, and it will always pay off. I'm not talking about helping someone with a financial problem. Yes, it's pure the emotional support we can give, and this is for the ones who are less. How do you say that in English again? Less. Um, well, let's say the vulnerable ones. I wanted to say the ones let's less fortunate, for example. And I've done this for some time for the um, for a foundation in Africa to support them. And I didn't support them financially. My support was to write about the foundation and ask others to support too, and then I ask for financial help. Yes, but that, and by doing this, you you get something out of it for yourself, you serve others, and when you are lucky, you inspire others and motivate others to do the same.
Yeah, and here's one thing I learned is gratitude goes a long way.
Hmm.
And you know, I used to go to these personal development 2-3 day conferences, you know, in the 90s and 80s, but when that's the only way you were going to get this information. And somebody made a point which was so simple, but I didn't understand until they said it, is so many people do so many things every day for you, and you forget to thank. And then the ones you thank, you just say, like, thank you. And that's quite a bit for most people. But, they said if you're departing a plane and he had a great ride and the pilot brought everything in safely, when you leave the plane, instead of say thank you, it's like, thank you
Mm.
for creating such a safe flight for me, right? If you add those extra 3 words to say, what are you thanking me for? Thank you for your great service. Thank you for being so friendly. Now it's not just giving something for something, it's giving something more in return, right? And all of a sudden, the rest of that day, that person is going to say, or if you wear something that you're really proud of, and 2 or 3 people during the day say, boy, I really like what you're wearing, you feel better about yourself. You feel better about your choices. And people now take your mind back to what's positive. And I think it's really taken the time, understanding what you would love to hear from somebody and be the model and see the benefit. Because if what you're doing improves people and you can see it, why wouldn't you want to continue it? Because it doesn't cost anything, and and the opportunities are put right in front of you. Paul says, uh, helping people has always been my antidote, especially during dark
Yeah.
times. You know,
Yeah. It does
it's
work. It does work.
yeah, it's never as dark as when you're all by yourself. What do you think, Andrea?
Well, it is at first when you are come into a situation whereby you have to be alone, and then it is important to practice being alone and not having somebody around you, and not feeling lonely. It takes practice, but it does work. It does work, and it does work wonders, because it has such an impact on your balance in life, on it's it has an impact of not needing the validation of others, because you have learned to validate yourself, because there's no one else there. Yes. And this
Mm-hmm.
is also what Mel Robbins is always saying, with high five yourself in the mirror in the morning. And I keep repeating this for her because I think it's a brilliant way to validate yourself. It is a really brilliant way to do that every morning. You start your morning with a positive leg. How often don't we, well, I can come out of my bed and still and think, why am I getting up? I'm still tired, but I know why I'm getting up, because I want to follow my schedule. I don't want to go off my schedule. And because that schedule is serving me. And there we go again. You need to serve yourself in the best way, in the best manner, in order to be able to serve others. And so, by choosing my schedule to do some practices and exercises and meditation and writing down what I'm grateful for, I am supporting myself. Yeah, I am supporting myself to stay the Andrea I want to be, to stay the Andrea I want to be, stay the Andrea I should be, because this was meant to be. This was meant to be. And so there is something. Can you go back? I think it's something Paul said. He addressed it. He said, Andrea, in the comments. He addressed it
Mm-hmm.
to me, and it was about losing his voice. Can you see that?
I'm gonna try. Um, I'll keep looking.
Yeah, I think that's also
One.
an important. No, it starts with Andrea.
Okay,
He
I'll.
said something.
Oh, here it is.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yes, there are moments in life, with especially with sickness and anything which is really a hard time, and often we after 6 months we look back and think, hmm, yeah, it's been there for a reason why I lost my voice, Paul. Huh? It's been there for a reason, and now I understand, and I'm grateful for it. So when I got corona, and when I got the severe problems next to it, huh, I was thinking, okay, it means something. It means something that this is happening to me. It means something. So I haven't figured out yet what it is, but I'm grateful for it because I realized it was stopping me. So there was a reason for me to be stopped and have a new start, something like that. Yeah, and I'm still there is yeah, I understand now why I was stopped, and I'm lucky that I could say to myself, whatever it is, I am grateful for it. This is how we start. Sometimes we don't know, right? But I'm always saying, be grateful for the now, for what you have, even if it's losing your. It sounds really. I hate it when you write. Dean says, "Oh my God!" But it is. It's it it is. It's making your life so much easier when you can. It's a relief. It's so much better than thinking, oh dear me, why did I lose my voice? Why is it me? Why is it happening to me? And I know when I got these problems with Corona, I first thought, why is this happening to me? And then I thought, no, 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 no. This is not how to look at it. Because life is not happening to us. It's life is what we're doing with it. So when we are in this difficult situation, it's easier to tell yourself, okay, it's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. I'm grateful for it, and let me find out what the reason is.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. And I think that is important as part of support and supporting yourself first, like you say, is really reflecting on how you look at things, how you say things to yourself, and how you can
Mhm.
rephrase them, like you just mentioned. And the key is to find ways to win, not ways that you consider yourself lost or are losing. And that's why other people can be so important to maybe shake you out of your funk or whatever you're in. I want to recognize Ann Levy. She's just great, wonderful person. And I'd connect with her. Leslie's here, who did just wonderfully yesterday, got so much positive feedback. And me and Andrea and Leslie were talking about pairing Leslie up with Andrea for a show and getting the best of both. So, and that's what we're looking to do. And just like um, last week when we had you know Harvey on with Christy, that turned out to be a pair because there's so many people who want to be co-hosts, and if we can pair people with like-minded, complementary, but also distinctly different in quality ways, then it's a better show for everybody. Paul is talking about identity. Yeah, by the way, I want to also share that Joanne is doing her first show this
Mhm.
Saturday, I believe. And very exciting story. Here's Dr. Joanne. Wishing you a wonderful day. It's very important to support others for sure. It's a win-win on so many levels.
Yes,
You know, and that's so much fun when everybody wins. No one has to feel bad. I believe when you support people, you will also get stronger and may learn
I
something.
love that.
Yeah, perfect,
I
Lillian.
love that.
Andrea, this topic is hitting home because
Yeah,
while
that's the one we just had.
we just did that, Joanne's back with or just giving without expecting anything in return. That's the best way to give because you never have to think after you give. Good point. Dennis is here. Agree, link in and support others. Gratitude is a great attitude. Uh, Thank you, Lillian. Munica says, that is why I will always reach to help someone else. I know what it feels like to be in a dark place with no one there. That struggle I want for no one. Well, you know, everything is a lesson, you know,
Mm.
and hopefully we can learn and share so other people may have an easier time when they go through it. Hello, all. In for the last bit. Thanks, Leslie. Appreciate it. Dennis, agree. Great practice does eventually make perfection.
Mm.
Munica, and it's constant thing to do, relighting your way. Yeah, you got to be diligent. You got to take care of yourself. You got to ask yourself, what do you need, and how do I best achieve that, and help others in the meantime. We've got Anne coming back. Better to be alone on our own than be alone living with someone. Uh,
Exactly.
well, that's the key, and like we said
Yeah.
before, there are no absolutes. It's all conditional. It's all relative. What works for one may not be what other people can do. A new skill relatively for women whose 5,000-year history is serving everyone. Well, you know, it's a changing world, and hopefully we're the agent for future change. Munica, author, social,
Mm.
so true. Um, Hope you get your voice back soon. I lost my voice 2 times last year. I hear you. Uh, you know, you got to be thankful for what you have, not for what you don't always have. Adversity is the greatest gift, Scott McGregor, if you use it or you let it use you. And that's the key: is do you overcome or do you get overcome? Making time for ourselves is more challenging for women as we served everyone for 5,000 years. Uh, I believe it, Andrea. I hate it when you're right. As someone who's in the same circumstance, finding codependability on others hard. Uh, Dennis,
Yeah, I'm not saying it's easy. Yeah, I'm not saying it's easy to sit there and tell yourself, okay, it's for a reason. I'm grateful, it's for a reason. Keep repeating it. And the more we tell ourselves the truth, the more we can trust. Yeah, it's as I
Mhm.
said before, um, your thoughts rule your life. So be aware of what your thoughts are. It can be, oh, this is happening to me. Does it really, is this really happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Or you say, this is happening for a reason. Yeah,
Mhm.
there is
Well,
a difference.
oh, for sure. And you know, every day's a new day, and every day you get an adventure, and you get to choose how you want to journey through that adventure. Dennis says, "Mean something without being mean." Yeah, that's important and a good play on words. Dr.
Mm,
Joanne says, Andrea, yes, gratitude through challenges, despite the pain and suffering, can help in our healing journey. It
it
helped me when
does.
I had a brain injury. You know, that's why now's the time to build the support, to you know, build those trusted relationships for each other. Uh, that's good, Dennis. Paul says, thank you, Roxanne Reed. I started up meetings today and I'm speaking on my show tomorrow, my toughest stage I've ever taken because of the topic. It's what led me to personal development. Well, you know, it's really good when everybody's stretching,
Kudos to you.
yeah, reaching, you know, expanding. It's so much better than the alternative. Dennis says, Lillian, thank you. Paul, when we are in a bad situation, Andrew, we don't see the beauty of the wood for the trees. Thank you for sharing your experiences, Andrea. that's so positive and kind,
Mm.
to continue to show respect back and forth, because it encourages everybody to share a little bit more. And when you share and you help people, what you share becomes more valuable. You're so right there. Don Christie is amazing. I'm having a Zoom with her on Sunday. Can't wait. Such a perfect collaboration. Thank you. Um, Let me go on. Rita's here. Rita was great on her show. Good morning, Rita Wirtz in Eugene, Oregon, and I'm sure we'll have Rita back. So many wonderful people who are starting to show up here, and it's amazing. Agreed, every day is an adventure. We're coming towards top of the hour, and always want to be respectful of people's next uh, appointment or what they plan on doing. The interactions today have been just fabulous, uh, and really uh, transformative to a lot of people. I know I've heard 6, 7, 8 different points that made me take note and probably want to incorporate those and integrate those in your thinking, because every time something comes to you, you have a choice on how to deal with it, right? And if you have more tools, more perspectives, more ways of doing better with it, right, and improving the response to everybody involved, you're helping more than yourself grow when you do that. Dr. Joanne says, we're here to grow and expand, Andrea and Don. Thank you for such beautiful sharing. And Dennis, thanks, Don. Good nerds do play on good words. Everybody's got something to say. But the funny thing is that if it's funny, it's worth saying. If it's encouraging, one laugh could make a huge difference in just changing people's thought pattern. So with that said, Andrea, you did just wonderful today. The ability you have to plug in and relate to the audience in real time and share real value. What's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are it was a serious topic, really. Huh? I think I haven't smiled so little in a session like today. I'm sorry about that, but it was really it was touching. It was touching me as well, because support and supporting, then the support we have here is truly amazing, and to explain how we can support without losing ourselves, without putting energy in there which we don't have. Let's put it that way. uh, it's one of the topics which is, as I said, support is the purest love we can give. And yeah, that love is a topic which, it's touching me, man. It's touching me, and I am going like, oh, yeah. I sometimes, well, I said it before. I wish somebody had a post today, and there was this heart flying out to every person who looked sad, or was injured, or was obviously in pain, or was having problems with a bag, for example, or whatever it was. But there was this lady, the puppet, in there, and she had this flying hat with her, and she just punched it like this so that the heart would go to that person. And I was sitting there, and I was right. Oh my god, I was writing, I need a heart like this. I need a heart like this, because it's so it's so it's not easy to convince people to love themselves first. Not easy, but I will not give up. It's not easy. People don't not everyone wants to understand, to listen. They don't understand. People think it's selfish. It's not selfish. Actually, just taking care of yourself, respecting yourself. And then it changes your life. And uh, yeah, it changes your life. And serving comes from the heart. There's no, I don't overthink anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
When I can serve.
I think there's something to having the experiences that everybody has and their ability to take the best of them with them, leave what they don't need or want behind, and then continue to complement. And again, if you look at life as one day at a time, anything that happened to you only happened that one day at that time, right? It didn't happen for years. I mean, every situation, every interaction is something you were involved in directly or indirectly for whatever reason. And it's how much credit do you give that and how much do you want to continue to bring it forward. But I think, you inspire so many people by your authenticity and your ability to share who you really are, where you are, with who you are at that time. And I think that's all people can hope for, is to get as aligned with their true beliefs and intentions and live them, not compete for them. If the exchange is just a smile in return, you win every time you play. If the exchange is I need a lot from somebody that doesn't know me for something they may not need, but I need to make money, right? That takes everything off into a different direction. And what you'll find is when people see you for who you really are, they'll
Mm,
want to do more with you, for you, and by you, because they're in the same situation looking for their family that they can eat with, have fun with, go back to every day. I remember growing up, everybody had open doors. You can go in anybody's house. They would like be glad to see you. Any relative, if I showed up, would bring out the food, would make sure I was happy. And we can do that. That's what we
mm,
always used to do before everything got complicated. And we need to go back to what Andrea says, is being childlike in the best ways, of still having some innocence, of still believing in good, and believing that you can trust certain people. And hopefully this show continues to foster that. And, now it's share with 30, 40, 50 people on a live at one time, but more importantly, the hundreds who will now see this afterwards. And the river keeps flowing and nourishing and building. So that's what I love about the show, is the people. And
mm,
you can't replace that with gimmicks or anything else, because people need to be heard and seen, and they like it. They like to be acknowledged. They like to be recognized. They like to contribute. And maybe this is a runway for people to do that. So, anyways, with that said, thank you so much again, Andrea. Thank you, audience.
thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. So we'll see everybody in about 23 hours. If you get a chance, check out Christy and Kelly's show. Check out Paul's show. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all for the good. There's never enough of these messages being shared and communicated, and more opportunities for more people to guest on more shows. So with that, thank you so much. We'll talk in about 23 hours. Take care.